Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon everyone, and very warm welcome to our distinguished speaker yang berbahagia Professor Datin Dr. Rubiyah Yusof, a lecturer in Malaysian Japanese International Institute of Technology and a professor at Cairo Institute, University Technology Malaysia Kuala Lumpur. Our Honorable Chair of Academy of Islamic Civilizations, Associate Professor Dr. Ajmain Safar, a representative from Center for Co-Curriculum Courses and Service Learning, CCSL, our fellow lecturers, students, and all participants. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to wish you all welcome to the intellectual discourse on thinking of science and technology 2018. Before we start, let's begin our session with a recitation of Ummul Kitab, Al-Fatiha. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Students, lecturers, and all participants, this is our second time for this year organizing this intellectual discourse on thinking of science and technology. This seminar is purposely organized for the students who registered in the UICL 3202 course. This lecture, as we know, is a compulsory to all students to come, to hear, to listen, to learn from our speaker. Therefore, your full attention to the whole session is very much appreciated, as the talk is related to the topic that we learned in our classroom. Your participation to engage in the discourse for this talk is very much anticipated. Speakers, students, and all lecturers, we are very blessed today to have our distinguished speaker for this seminar, a scholar and an expert in the field of science and technology, especially in the field of artificial intelligence, that sparks a very much debate in our discussion, especially in its relation with human being. As we now embrace to the Industrial Revolution 4.0, a technological revolution and modernization that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another, and in its scale, scope, and complexity, the transformation will be unlike anything humankind has experienced before. And we do not yet know how it will unfold, but one thing is clear: the response to it must be integrated and comprehensive, involving all stakeholders from the public and private sectors, as well as academia, students, lecturers, professors, researchers, as well as civil society. And we are lucky today to have a very prominent speaker, very prominent researcher on the topic that will unfold the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I read a very long CV of our speaker, but please do allow me to only introduce a short brief of our honorable speaker. Our speaker yang berbahagia, Professor Datin Dr. Rubiyah Yusof, is an influential professor in the area of artificial intelligence, machine vision, pattern recognition, and image processing. She is currently a professor at the Center of Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, known as Cairo, University Technology Malaysia International Campus, Kuala Lumpur, and has been with UTM since 1984. She was trained as an electrical and electronic engineer and earned bachelor and master degrees, both from two universities in the United Kingdom, University of Loughborough for her bachelor degrees in Electrical and Electronics, and Cranfield's Institute of Technology for her master degree. She then completed her PhD in 1994 from University of Tokushima, Japan, in the area of adaptive control system. She has been very active in doing research and contributing in academia in her field and expertise. She wrote extensively on modernization and application of artificial intelligence and delivered her speech in various local and international seminars and as well as conferences. We believe with her background, expertise, and experience, we could learn her thoughts and views on our today's topic, modernization of science and technology, industrial revolutions and its impact on human being. Therefore, proceeding with today's scholarly event, and without further ado, I would like to invite our honorable guest for this evening, Yang berbahagia Professor Datin Dr. Rubiyah Yusof, to come to this rostrum and deliver her speech. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat petang. And in Japanese, it's konnichiwa. Okay, as has been introduced, I'm Professor Rubiyah. I came all the way from Kuala Lumpur to be with you today to share some of the Thank you. To share with you on Industrial Revolution 4.0, I'm sure every one of you have heard about IR 4.0. What is it? What can it do? How it can impact your life and also human beings. So I'm going to touch a bit about that. And of course, central to Industrial Revolution 4.0 is an area which is very close to my heart, which is artificial intelligence. So I'm going to show a little bit about AI, as it is normally called, and some of the applications that are available in the world and also at our lab in Cairo. Cairo, as it stands for Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. So we deal a lot with AI and robotics application, not Cairo of Egypt. Yeah? Okay, just a bit about Cairo. There are about 8 full-time researchers or academic staffs in Cairo, but we have about 10 research officers working with us. We have a lot of students. We have graduated more than 250 students. Most of them are PhD graduates and also master's graduate. And we have currently more than 40 postgraduate students in our lab, in our center. And we focus a lot on robotics applications, machine vision, control and automation, data analytics. We have been surviving through grants received from both the government agencies and also the industries. And we do a lot of publications to share about our research knowledge to the community at large. And our center, although we are very small, just 8 of us, we have 4 spin-off companies in order for us to commercialize our product. And if you know one of our members, Dr. Yong Chee Fai, he has a company called DF Automation, and the turnover for the company now is about 10 million. So he's a very rich guy, but he is still very passionate about working in Cairo, sharing his knowledge to the students, especially the students of Faculty of Electrical Engineering. Now I think it's called School of Electrical Engineering. Okay, any one of you from that school? Yes, okay. So you will meet Dr. Yong and some other Cairo members in the faculty. Okay, Industrial Revolution 4.0, what it is. Actually, Industrial Revolution started way back in the 18th century. So it started with Industry 1.0 or Industrial Revolution 1.0. It introduced machines, mechanical production machines, which are basically powered by water and steam, because during that time electricity was not available yet. So mainly the machines are powered by water and steam. Then in the beginning of the 20th century, There is the Industrial Revolution where the industries produces mass productions, produces a lot of products in the mass production, and these industries are powered by electricity. And then in the beginning of the 1970s, so maybe some of you are still not born yet during that time, the Industrial Revolution sees the use of electronics and IT, to further to do a lot of manufacturing productions. Mainly, the Industrial Revolution centered around the manufacturing industries. And now we have Industrial Revolution 4.0. Why is Industrial Revolution 4.0 different from the Industrial Revolution 3.0? So this is very important to understand about Industrial Revolution 4.0, because this is actually the combination of what we call cyber physical systems, the connections of all the physical systems via the technology of cloud, awan, cloud. Do you know about the technology of cloud, where you store all your data, your handphone data, you store in the cloud? So this is what it makes into Industrial Revolution 4.0, the ability for people to store information, data at one place, connecting all the physical entities, especially if we're talking about industries. So a lot of machines within the plant or manufacturing plant itself, it can be connected, or the plants with various places at various sites, it can also be connected via the cloud. So this is what is called cyber physical system, and this is Industrial Revolution 4.0. And as I mentioned just now, the central technology that holds all this data together and makes sense of the data that you collected is artificial intelligence. So this is what I'm going to share with you today, how this industrial revolution impacted the manufacturing industries as well as the society, impacted our lives and also the lives of so many others in this world. Okay, this is just a snapshot of what cyber physical system, as I mentioned just now. It means that there is physical system, something that moves things around or do work for us. Okay, and there's a communication, the cloud, and when it talk about clouds, then you come to the term, it's Internet of Things, IoT for short. So IoT, the physical systems are all connected to as a cyber physical system, is part of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, and the computations of all this, the controlling of all the physical systems through the cloud, okay, and the decision making that has been made through the data that has been acquired from the physical system. So these are what is called cyber physical system, and the central is informations and the artificial intelligence that compute the informations and make sense, or what you call data science, data analytics, informations that are available in the data that can be extracted by means of artificial intelligence, and also its subset area, which is machine learning. Okay. Now, let's look at some of the differences between the Industrial Revolution 3.0 and 4.0. For example, the biggest companies in the 1990s was all in Detroit. Detroit in US is a manufacturing city, a city where there are a lot of manufacturing factories over there. So the central companies are all in Detroit in the 1990s. But from the 2000 onwards, most of the companies, the three biggest companies in the US are situated in Silicon Valley. So if you see the move from manufacturing to the more comprehensive industries that requires the manipulation of data or artificial intelligence based in Silicon Valley. And market capitalization in Industry 3.0, the value is $36 billion. But now it is almost tripled that amount, okay, in the Industry Revolution 4.0. And the revenues, maybe not so much difference. But if you look at the employees, that makes us really scared. Is Industrial Revolution going to make people unemployed? Because if you see, 1.2 million employees are employed in these three biggest companies. But now, in the Silicon Valley, there are only 137,000 people are employed in the three biggest companies in the US. So really a reduction of the number of employees. So basically, that is why a lot of people are very nervous about Industrial Revolution 4.0. So I'm going to share with you, please be patient. Not so, it is not actually going to be something that is very worrying, because it is not about just reduction of employees. It is just about the shift in the talent that is required for the industries. So probably previously you would want more of our operators operating machines, but now you don't need those kind of operators. You would need a more knowledgeable workers working in the industries, and you would need more of this. So probably it can prepare you to prepare yourself for the industries of Industrial Revolution 4.0. As last week, I organized a conference, and one of the keynote speaker was the Minister of Mestek, YB, Yang Berhormat Yeo Bing Ying. And she mentioned that for the Industrial Revolution, the technology is moving very, very fast. Okay, and two countries, they are neck to neck with each other to move towards creating technology for the Industrial Revolution 4.0 are China and US. Okay, and the other countries are simply followers of these two big giants. So we in Malaysia, we can sit still and not do anything, not following these two giants, or we could follow them very faithfully and very fast. So we can also sort of gain the advantages of what Industrial Revolution 4.0 offers in this era of the 21st century, or going into 22nd century. So next information. In the past, when you want to store 1 gigabyte of data per year, you have to pay about $10,000. Yeah, $10,000. So you can't afford to do that. You only store very little bit of data. But now it only costs to store that amount of data. It only costs about 30 cent US, which is about $1, 1 ringgit, or 1.2 ringgit, or 1.5 ringgit, Malaysian ringgit. So everybody can store 1 gig of data per year. Okay? And the number of servers that Google has, everybody knows Google. So number of servers, in 1998 they have only 3 servers. But now, in 2016, I'm not sure 2018 how many servers they have. But in 2016, they have 2.5 million servers comparatively to 1988 with only 3 servers. Why they have too many servers here? Why they have it? This is the servers that store the data of the cloud. We send our data to the cloud. Actually, there is a physical server that's storing our data. There is these servers are being managed by big companies such as Google or IBM and so on. So this is how they make money in the Industrial Revolution 4.0, storing our data. But it is also good for us. It benefits us because we can store that data and it is not lost. Yeah, we cannot store the data in our device because it can only hold a certain amount of data. But if we use the cloud, you can store 40 gig data anytime, very cheap. Yeah. Okay, some of these technologies which I think everybody likes very much, yeah, the iPhone, iPad was non-existent in 2006. So this is the good thing that Industrial Revolution brings to us. Yeah, you have Kindle, you have 4G, now we are going into 5G perhaps. And you have Uber, in Malaysia is Grab, yeah? So very easy to travel. And you have Airbnb, making everybody can stay at hotel-like apartments. And you have Android, of course, Instagram, yeah, which is very, very popular among the young. I'm sure all of you has Instagram account, Snapchat, WhatsApp. So very easy for us to communicate with each other. So this is the technology of the IR 4.0, which actually we like very much. The only thing we don't like is the jobs, yeah? The robots taking over our jobs. So that is what we are trying to, we are being very apprehensive about, yeah? Robot taking over our lives, our jobs, yeah? Okay, this is one data which I like this data very much. Time for the companies to reach 100 million companies. Yeah? Previously, when they want to sell telephone, it took them 75 years to reach 100 million customers. And the World Wide Web, www, it took 7 years to get 100 million customers. Facebook took only 4 years, yeah, to get 100 million customers. Instagram, only 2 years. And Pokemon Go. So everybody knows Pokemon Go? Yeah? Only 1 month, they reach 100 million customers. I'm not sure whether this is good or not, but yeah, lots of my children likes Pokemon Go as well. Okay, all right. This is something that probably we need to look at, the skills that are relevant for Industry 4.0. If you look at 2000 on the right, my right, okay, your right as well. In 2015, there are 10 most needed skills for 2015. Complex problem solving, coordinating with others, people management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, service orientation, judgment and decision making, active listening, creativity. So these are the skills that are needed for you to survive in the industries or in the working place. Okay? And in 2020, this is as we go along, the Industrial Revolution, as we started to implement Industry Revolution 4.0, we see that some of these skills are still valid. Yeah? Only it is the 10 most skills that are appreciated, yeah, in the workplace are almost the same as 2015. Maybe the order of importance are different, but there are two different skills that are required for 2020, or as we move towards establishing Industrial Revolution 4.0. And these two skills are emotional intelligence and also cognitive flexibility. So these are two skills that are required apart from the skills that are available, that are already required in 2015. Additional two skills that are required for you to survive in the workplace come 2020. Okay, or even from now, right? So the others are almost the same. Everybody must be able to solve problem solving, complex problem. You must have critical thinking. So I think this session is for you to be able to be critical thinkers, yeah? Looking at technology, how it impacts people, human beings, society, and so on. Creativity, and so on. So let's look at what it means by emotional intelligence. Yeah? Basically, you cannot survive in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0 if you work in silo. Because the technology of Industrial Revolution 4.0 is not a single disciplinary, it is a multidisciplinary technology. So you must work as a team. So working as a team requires you to have emotional intelligence, so that you would be able to work as a team, you would be able to consider the teammates, your team members, yeah, feelings, and so on. You can exert your leadership ability, you can increase your personal well-being. It can, in this way, when you work in harmony, it can reduce staff turnover and so on. So it can make you make decisions better because you have the support of your team members. And of course, when you work very, very closely with each other, you can reduce the stress of working. Yeah? So the EI is, if we put it by definition, able to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, influence the emotion of others. So, you know, in Japan, because I was in Japan for 3 years doing my PhD, and I work a lot with Japanese even until now. So one of the things that the culture of Japan, which I like very much, is about thinking of others. Think of others. You must think of others. You must think of the other's feeling. That's why they never throw rubbish on the roadside. Because if they throw rubbish on the roadside, then another person will look at the rubbish, and it will be stressful for people to see the rubbish on the roadside. So they think about other people before they do anything. So that is one of the culture of the Japanese, which I think is very much, they have already cultured themselves, you know, to move into Industrial Revolution 4.0. So, but I think Malaysian also have a very good culture. Yeah, we are not selfish. We can also emulate some of this Japanese culture that is very, very important and very useful for our well-being. Another skills that is needed in the era of IR 4.0 is the cognitive flexibility. So this means that you have to be able to be fluid, yeah, You have to be able to change, ability to change when what you are doing is not working. So the flexibility of change, and you need to be able to adapt, yeah, adapt to changes easily. Okay, and then you are able to seize the opportunity when it comes to you. Okay, so these are the things that is very much needed in the era of IR 4.0. You cannot be like this yellow hat guy. It's always an excuse. The lecturer only taught me how to think outside